Right, well, sweet peas. They've got to be one of the most iconic things you can grow, either at home in your garden or up on the plot like I am. Today I'm going to go through planting my sweet peas now in the spring. We're going to go over the sweet peas I grew back in the autumn and trimming them to help them bush up and get even better results, thicker, bushier plants. And hopefully, because these are all my own saved seed, by the time I planted this lot up, there'll be loads left over and I'd love to give them away. So if you'd like some sweet pea seeds, just stick it in the comments or email me. First come, first served, and I'll get these off to you. Be lovely to share them around. Right, well, that's what we're going to do. Let's crack on and get these spring ones sown. Right, let's get on with sowing these first then. First of all, like last year, my first time growing them, I was all hung up with, oh, you've got to use root trainers or put them in toilet rolls. What's wrong with just sticking them in a pot? I mean, if that's what you got, stick them in a pot. No need to get too upset about it. The biggest thing is they say they don't like their roots being disturbed, which is fair enough. But if you grow it in a pot, as long as you can tip the whole pot out and plant the whole pot, matter do it. I don't think so. The bonus of, I suppose, using like these root trainers, which are just the cheap plastic ones, you open them up, and then once your plants are developed, you can take them out easily without disturbing the roots. But that's not much more difficult than just turning the pot upside down, tipping it out and planting that, is it? So personally, I wouldn't get too hung up about how you do it, or what you plant them in. But I bought these last year, so I'm going to use them again. I have given them a wash out, and I just made a simple little box just to hold them. And I suppose the bonus of this is you can get more in a small area. Compost I'm using is just a bag of Jack's Magic that I've sieved through quite a fine sieve. It's about 7 mil. And I've just mixed that at a ratio roughly a 2-to-1 by volume to a compost, and 2 of compost, 1 of vermiculite. And I'm using fine vermiculite. I mean, I buy it in a big bag, 100 litres. It's a lot cheaper than buying it in these little bags like this. I just decant it into here, so I haven't got too much in one place. So that's the mix. These seeds are my home saved seeds, and that's the other beauty of sweet peas. Once you've got them, it's so easy to save the seeds, and it's so rewarding to save your own seed. And they always seem to, oh, hello, he's off, never mind, I got loads here. So I've got my saved seeds. I just put this little tray so that I can get to them easily, and I can already see some of these. I don't know, well, you can see there, probably not very well at all, are starting to sprout out. So let's crack on. Move that out of the way for a minute. Push that to one side. And all I'm doing, filling up the root trainer, firming it down a little bit. Give that a water to settle it all down with the famous Timu watering can. Other watering cans are available. And I tend to give this a good soak in now. Then you haven't got to really worry about it much this time of year. The moisture from this first soaking should be ample for germination. Right, it's just starting to run out the bottom. And all I'm going to do is stick 2 seeds in each one. You know, if you put 2 in each one, it's covering your back against any that don't germinate. Now I'm just going to stick a bit of compost over the top. Firm that down. And the last thing I do is just put some vermiculite over the top of that. And the reason I do that is it helps retain the moisture, and it also stops the compost drying out right on top. And it then means when you go to water it a bit later on, the compost doesn't repel the water. If compost really dries out, and I'm sure you've seen it, it doesn't, the water just seems to run off it. But if you put vermiculite over the top, when you come to water it, the compost will absorb it really well. So that's all I'm doing. I mean, how straightforward is that? Simple as. Right, I'll crack on and do the rest. It's that easy. Right, so there we go. Nice and easy. All done up. And I've just written on the box the date for sowing. It's pretty obvious for sweet peas. And I've got quite a few left over. So if anybody would like some, my email's in my channel description. Email me your address. First come, first serve. And I'll get some off to you. And you too could be growing Cornish sweet peas. Got to be good. Now, just one thing. If you're planting sweet peas, the mice love them. This is probably the biggest takeaway from if you're watching this video. Protect them from mice. And the way I do it, I've got a simple hanging shelf here in the polytunnel. I just put them on a hanging shelf. I'll stick in a picture so you can see it. That way the mice can't get to them. Right, so that's planting the spring ones. We'll now go on to trimming up the autumn ones. And the reason I've done 2 lots of sowing is to A, spread the workload of sowing seeds, and also to help make the flowering season longer. You know, the autumn ones, they're a bit more established. They should start flowering earlier, and then these will come along afterwards and keep flowering later on in the season. Right, so let's go on to the autumn sown and just trimming the tops off to keep them bushy. Right, well, this won't take very long because, to be honest, most of these are looking pretty good. These were sown on the 7th of November, same method as the other, and they've just grown quietly. They're nice and strong, not leggy. There's a few that are a bit leggier, and all you need to do is count up 3 or 4 leaves, nip the top off. 3 or 4, nip the top off. 3 or 4, nip the top off. Simple as that. And that'll do them no harm. Oh, that's a good one to do. Look, see how you started to fall over a bit. Just nip the top off. And they'll grow away. They'll bush out in the bottom even more. And you'll have lovely thick plants to plant out in the spring. If you really want to, you can nip off the tendrils, but that's a bit of a faff, to be honest. I wouldn't bother. But you know, they don't need tendrils at this moment. And there you go. That's all you got to do to them. Simple as. Now, some of you may have noticed that in the last lot, I didn't water the topsoil or the top lot of compost that I put on top. And that's because I found there's no need. You've got the bottom lot really wet. Put your seed in. The top goes on a bit drier. Top compost goes over a bit drier. And capillary action will work its way up through, get the seed damp, and it will moisten the top. Because you don't really want these to grow away too fast. You want them slow, plenty of light, so you don't get leggy, and you end up with lovely plants like these. I don't know where I'm going to put them all yet, but there we go. It's better to be looking at them than for them. Right, well, that's it. Thanks for joining me and seeing how I do my sweet peas. And don't forget, if you want some seeds, email me and I'll get them off to you. Beauty. There again. Thanks for watching. Cheers and gone.